All right. What's up, guys? Welcome. Futures about to open. 6 p.m. Hope everyone's having a good Sunday. Rangers are about to play in an hour, so get ready for that. I'm going to be sweating the whole entire game. Very excited. I guess I can't say good morning, but good afternoon, good evening. Yeah, a lot of people here for the late night stream. Portnoy Musk, baby. 2020, what is it? 2024? 2024. All right, futures just opened. So we got a little bit of a pop here on the futures open. So let's just go ahead. It's not going to be like a whole hour thing, but let's go ahead and do like just an analysis on the NQ and ES. Get an idea of what we saw on Friday, what we saw on the upside, why we bounced, sort of where we pushed into, and where we need to watch out for to the upside. What levels do we need to watch moving forward this week? That's really what I'm going to go over today. So I had Chipotle earlier. So if I take a bunch of pauses, because that just makes me burp all the time, Chipotle. I don't know what it is. But all right, so Nasdaq. Let's go ahead and start on the daily chart and just get an idea of where we tried to hold up to. right? Where did we try to hold? What levels are we watching? Just get an idea. So the first level that I was watching coming into this week was 12.2. 12.2 was that big level that I was watching. This was a support level. Sorry, guys. This thing keeps on freaking out. This was a support level from from February, March of last year. So right here, guys, this was a level I was watching. This little support bounce around 12.2, which was also a resistance level from October and November of 2020. So we had a little bit of a support right here. You guys can see this. See how we were previous resistance into support? So that's 12.2, right? That's that level right there. And if you guys if we look forward, if we move forward, this is where the market's it's at least trying to regain and trying to hold, in my opinion. We did slip under it. We did find a little bit of capitulation here, potentially. Not sure if it's capitulation yet, but we definitely got a nice quick move under it and then came right back above it. So 12.2 is definitely an interesting level, because we can see that if we look at the 30-minute here, we tried to hold it earlier last week, right? This is Monday, this is Tuesday, and this is Wednesday. So the first 3 days of last week, we were trying to hold that 12.2 level. Now you can see Wednesday, Thursday, we did slip under, but you can see on Friday, we regained it, and we actually held it intraday, which is interesting to me. So look at this 5-minute chart of Friday's action. Look at where the market held Friday afternoon. So you guys remember we had a big push Friday, we slipped lower, and where did the market hold Friday afternoon after pulling back? And this is what is making me believe that there is potentially an opportunity for a bounce off this 12.2 level. The fact that we were able to close the week back above this 12.2 is it's interesting to me, right? I think this could set up some type of a short-term little bounce here. The fact that we held 12.2. So that's very interesting. That's my main number one takeaway coming into this week, coming into, closing last week, coming into this week. What's my main takeaway? The market held 12.2. Whatever you think is, if it's good, if it's bad, and futures are actually sort of running right now. Whatever you think, good or bad, I think 12.2 hold is important. Right? I think that's the first takeaway we move into next week off of. Why 12.2? Because if we go to the daily chart, it's a big previous level. So keep that on your charts, guys, the 12.2 level. If you see us come back down and fail 12.2, then you know that this is going to be weak again, right? That's like coming into next week, that's your line, that's your bottom, that's like the minimum level we must hold to have any type of upside momentum. We have to hold 12.2. So that's it, right? That we know. So if we do get upside, where can we go to? What levels do we need to break on the Nasdaq? And where could I see us actually moving to before I think you get a pretty nasty rejection? Because I'm still in the side of thinking that this will reject, right? I think this will reject eventually. But I think, that doesn't mean that we can't take advantage of maybe bear market rallies, which is maybe what you could see here. So what do we have to go to see that? We got to go to the 4-hour. And the 4-hour will show us a very important level here. And there's a lot of confluences. First of all, it's this right here. It's this 12,950. This is sort of the area that I'm watching. All in this zone, 12,950, 13,000. This zone is where I think if we get a little bit of a push, this is where I think we reject. If we get a push to the upside, I think 12,950, 13,000 is where we ultimately find the next resistance. This is a previous low, previous support. And if we come back into that, that is where I think you could find a little bit of rejection. 12,950, 13,000, which gives us just about 400 to 500 points to the upside if we find momentum next week. That's where I think we ultimately reject. Now, not only is it an important level, it is also, on top of that, if we go to the 4-hour chart, it is also where I believe this downtrend will converge. So right here, you guys can see this downtrend. If I take off these moving averages real quick, you can see that there is a downtrend, right? You see this downtrend? This is where the downtrend will converge, right there at 12,950. So you have one confluence being the support lows, where we reject, the downtrend, where we could reject, and then if I put the moving averages back on, you will see one more thing, which is very interesting. If we go to the daily chart, not only do you have that key level on the daily chart, not only do you have the downtrend on the daily chart, you also have the 20 SMA right there. So, moving into this week, I think that you could see a push to the upside into 12,950. That's really, as of right now, as I come into this week of trading, that's my first thought. My first thought is I think you can see a move into a downtrend test, a 20 SMA test, and a previous low test. This is like a trifecta of resistance right here at 12,950. It's not going to be an easy level to get through by any means. So you have a 20 SMA, a downtrend, and a supply zone. That is the trifecta effect. The trifecta resistance is what I'll call it at the 12,950. But that doesn't mean that 400 points of upside is not opportunity, right? If we see it. So that is a level that I would watch. Is that the same level as the fib? Since when? January? Is that the same fib level? Where are you taking it from? Like this high? No, you're not taking it from that high. I wonder where you're taking. Where are you taking it from? I'd be interested. Maybe from this pivot. Yeah, maybe you're taking it from this pivot here. This swing high. If it's this swing high, then yeah, you got four. You got 4 reasons to reject there, right? That's the 61.8 right there. From this swing high to this swing low, 61.8 retracement is at that same level. So I think you could see that, guys. I think that's what you watch out for. I think you could see a push into the 950.13. You got the 61.8, you got the 20 SMA, you got the supply zone, and you got the downtrend. So that's not the trifecta, that's the quadfecta right there. So that is not going to be an easy level to break through. Now, if this breaks through, then you could start to get the idea of more upside, but we're not even going to get there yet, right? We're not going to get ahead of ourselves. This is where I think you find resistance at, right? Right there. Okay, so that's big, right? Everyone should know this coming into tomorrow. If you're on this live stream, you absolutely should know this coming into tomorrow. I will go over this again tomorrow morning for the people that are not here. But I felt like I wanted to go ahead and give you guys some of that today. So that's big. What do we need to happen before we can see that push? What needs to happen before, we can see that push? We need to get over this pivot high of last week, 12,550. Right? Before we can even talk about that, we need to get over Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays highs before we can even discuss that resistance, right? So if we can get over Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays highs, which could happen tonight, could happen by tomorrow morning, but that is a must, right? You have support, resistance, resistance, resistance. So if we can't even get over this level, then... right? If we can't even get over this level, then we're not going to even attempt to see the 12,950.13, which is right here. All right? If we can't get over this level, then we're not going to see here. So if we do maybe break this tonight, tomorrow morning, then I think tomorrow you could see that 950. Maybe not tomorrow, but at least next week if you continue this momentum. So that's that, guys. I mean, it's pretty... There's really 2 things, right? Two to three scenarios coming into next week. You either get an early week rejection off 12.5, and you probably move back down to the 12.2, maybe retest it. You come right off this rejection and you even come lower back to the lows. Or if you get any type of support off the 12.5, then I think you will see the 12.950 rejection up here, right? Those are the three little ideas that I have coming into this week. So just preparing myself, getting ready, getting prepared. Thanks, Mick. I appreciate that, man. Overtime pays. I appreciate. Thank you, Mick. Thanks for the support. Thanks for being here. Yeah, so we can see it, right? We can see it. Just look at this chart. It's there, right? Here's 12.950 on a shorter term look. Right there. So you're either pushing through 12.5. This is last week's highs. Maybe a little retest. Boom. Or rejection, right? Which one are we seeing? New routine or random? I don't know. We'll see, PA. We'll see. We'll see if people like it. I'll do it. I'd rather do top the expected move for the week is at that level 2. 5 things. Really stunned. Holy shit. It's almost like it's expected to happen. Like that's gonna happen, right? When you see that much confluence, it's almost like it seems it's gonna happen. Celtics won. Oh wow, Celtics won. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at the Nasdaq. If this is something I'm gonna go over the ES now, but yeah, I mean, like to answer your question, PA, I wouldn't mind doing this. I like doing this better than making a video. I was about to start a video, but I'd rather do it live, and then just have you guys watch it after if you have to. I don't like this. Is so much easier to just do it live and get it done with in one fell swoop. I hate having to edit it and do all this blah blah blah. It's just annoying. So that's the Nasdaq, guys. And right now, if we look at the 1 minute on the futures, we can see we're sort of running here, right? We're sort of running here for futures right now. So we're up almost 0.8% futures market as it opens at 6 p.m. So about 13 minutes in. Macro levels, macro events next week. I don't know if there's many positive macro events in the near future there. I mean, next week we have, I don't think we have much next week. Retail sales, there's not much next week. Jobless claims, not too much next week. And yeah, macro is probably not the best. But yeah, there we go. So that's the Nasdaq. To quickly recap, daily chart. All right, we're going to go 2-minute recap right here if you missed it. JPOW Tuesday 2? Really? What did I miss? JPOW Tuesday at 2. Tuesday at 2. I don't see that. I don't see that on the economic calendar, JPOW at 2. Yeah, I don't see that. What is he reporting? At least it's not on the economic calendar. That's what I'll say right here. May 17th. Yeah, that's the right week. Let me know what you guys see at 2 o'clock. I don't see it. But all right, so that's a Nasdaq to review. 12.2 held, right? Big level. That's a must hold, right? 12.2 has to hold. That's a guaranteed. If we break back below 12.2, you're moving lower. That's it, right? That has to hold. 12.2. It's all or nothing at 12.2. If we get more upside, last week's highs, 12.550, that's a must break. If we do not get 12.550, we're moving lower. If we get the 12.550 break, then you're coming into the quadruple confluence resistance. That's what we'll call it. Downtrend, 20 SMA, 61.8 retracement, right? 61.8 retracement, 20 SMA, rejection of previous supply zone. That's a quadruple confluence rejection. 20 downtrend supply, 61.8, all lining up right at 12,950, 13,000, right? That's all right there at 13,000. So that's going to be impossible. Not impossible. I don't know. I don't even know why I use that word. It's going to be extremely difficult to see us get through 12,950, 13,000. So watch that. Okay. That's the ES. Or, I'm sorry. That's the Nasdaq. ES. Yeah, guys, I don't see Forex Factory. Forex Factory. Economic news. Let's see. What's going on at 2 o'clock on Tuesday that people say he's talking? I don't see that. 2 o'clock on Tuesday. 2 p.m. Fed Chair Jerome Powell speaks. Yeah, that's on there. Why is it? Huh. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I don't see that on the other one. But it's there. My girl said, hey. Hi. Yeah, it's here on Forex Factory. So you can see 2 o'clock. I'm surprised it's not on on economic calendar from Market Watch. Wall Street Journal's Future of Everything Festival. Due to speak about inflation at Wall Street Journal's Future of Everything Festival in New York. 2 p.m. Huh. Okay. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. Right there. In the morning you have retail sales. 2 p.m. Fed Chair Tuesday. CPI? That's not US CPI. That's not US. Because we already did US CPI, no? Yeah, this is confusing me now. Forex Factory has from all the different stuff, all different countries. Yeah, okay, that's okay. So yeah, no US CPI Wednesday. That's not US CPI. We already did that. So Tuesday, 2 p.m. That's the big one. Tuesday, 2 p.m. Jerome Powell. All right, let's go ES. ES. So the ES, that big level, similar to that 12.2 level, was 39.50 for me. That was 39.50 on the ES. That was like a level that I needed to see hold. You can see right here, this was a 39.50 level that I was looking to see hold last week. We got below it, but on Friday, we were able to move back above. Now, what is very similar and literally the same exact thing as I just talked about that's happened at 39.50 on the ES. What happened here on Friday? That's the same thing as the Nasdaq. You can see here on the Nasdaq, we were talking about 12.2. You came back down Friday afternoon. Where did you hold Friday afternoon on the Nasdaq? 12.2, right? Where did you hold Friday afternoon on the ES? 39.50. 39, let's just call it, it's 39, I guess it's higher. 39.75 is where you held, but it's really this zone. This is the 39.50 to 39.60 to 39.75. Really this zone. You held this zone at the end of last week on Friday. So this zone is a must hold, which is the exact same thing as the zone I just talked about on the Nasdaq. See this zone in the Nasdaq? It's the same thing on the ES. So that is a must hold. As of right now, the futures they actually are above Friday's highs as of right now. So where do I think we need to break for us to see any more upside on the ES? It is last week's highs, which is right in this general area around the 40.60 right here. You can see we had the lows of last 2 Mondays ago, which turned into basically the resistance of last week. You guys can see right here, this is Monday's highs, this is Tuesday's highs, this is Wednesday's highs, lower high, and this is Friday's highs right here. So what do we need to see next week to see a continuation of upside? What's a must happen? What must happen for more upside? We first need to break last week's highs, right? If we push up into this level next week and reject, then this is all just for nothing. All right, if we just see this, we push into last week's highs, and we reject off last week's highs, then you went nowhere, guys. You did not make even a higher high week over week. That is not going to amount to anything, all right? So we need to get over last week's highs, and that is at 4,065 on the ES, right there. If you see that 4,065 break, then you are coming up to the 4140. That is right here, right? 4140. Now that 4140, if we go to the daily chart, is most likely going to be a 20 SMA rejection, a downtrend rejection, everything we just talked about, right? Downtrend, 20 SMA. It's probably the 61.8 as well. Let's see. And it sure is. It's the 61.8, It's the downtrend. It's the 20 SMA. It's the supply zone. It's the quadruple trifecta gargantuan resistance. That's what we'll call it, right? You have supply. You have 20 SMA. You have downtrend. And you have a 61.8 retracement, all at 41.40. Right here, 41.30, 41.40, right in this green area. Why not? Let's make this red. Let's make this red, because that is monster resistance. Let's go ahead and turn that same level red on the Nasdaq. That is right here. Let's make this red as well. Red. Red. Okay. So that's the red zone on Nasdaq. That's where I think you can come up into before you reject. It's the same thing on the ES, right? If you break over last week's highs, you come up into 41.30, 41.40. You can see it right here. If you break last week's highs. So that's that, guys. It's very it's pretty defined, pretty easy. I hope everyone gets a good idea of what's going on here. Here's the 4 hour. We can sort of see if we break through last week's highs, then I think you move into the red zone. And then at that point, we need to be very cautious, right? Yeah, I mean, you could sit back and wait to short, Big Nick. That's, totally possible. If you want to sit back and wait to see if this is a huge rejection and we continue this downtrend, yeah. I mean, if you did that in the past, you did pretty well, right? If you sort of just waited out the rejections, right? If you waited out this push here and played short here, there's your rejection. If you wait this out and play short here, there could be another rejection right here. So you are still on the downtrend, right? There's no question about that. You are still very much on this downtrend. And you can absolutely see a bear market push into this level, right? And you can absolutely potentially play this rejection. That could, looking at this chart, that could be the right play, right? If you look at this daily chart, you can either long it into the red zone or you could sit back and wait for the rejection, right? But here's the number one thing I got to give you guys, right? What I'll tell you is that you're playing with small areas here. You cannot trust anything for a too long period of time. You are playing with small areas here. All right, if you play upside, you don't have much margin here until this red zone, which is a very nasty rejection. And if you play the downside, you may also be plagued with a pretty small profit margin, maybe back down to this low. All right, so you're getting into an area where scalping is, I think, still king. Even when you see little bounces, I don't think you trust these bounces with any type of large swing trade or anything like that. So I think that's two ways to attack this, guys. You wait until you short the red zone, right? Or you try to play it long into it. But I would not be. Here's what I wouldn't do. I would not be a buyer of calls at the red zone until it's like totally clear that we're breaking through with some really strong volume and really strong support on the market. I would not be a buyer of calls at this area on the ES. And then same thing on the Nasdaq, guys. I would not be a buyer of calls in the 12.2 rejection point. This looks pretty tough to me. I mean, look at this daily chart. Anyone that's been, anyone that's around that knows charts, that's looked at charts before, can sort of already see it without even, just take a look at this chart and tell me what you think happens here, right? You could totally see a rejection right there. And if you were to delete this is sort of what every bear market push looks like. It's just a push back into previous support and another rejection, right? It's the same exact thing that happened here. What did you do here? You broke down, you pushed into previous resistance, you rejected again, right? This is the same thing. Boom, boom, right? What do you do next? You push back into the previous support and you do another rejection. So you're just stair-stepping. So is this a stair-step rejection? If I had to put money on something, if I had to go to Vegas and put odds, my odds would be in favor of this being a rejection. Just, that's just my opinion right now. So I think to wrap this up, guys, because I don't want to go much more than 30 minutes, because this is just a futures analysis, just giving you an idea. What I think happens next week is if you break last week's highs, which is 12,550, if we see a breakthrough 12,550 this week coming up and we hold it as support, I think you will get a move into 13,000, 12,950, and then I think you ultimately will reject. Now, where that rejects, we'll have to continue to update on the analysis on a daily basis. But if we do reject, you could look for something like this, or if you reject, right, you could see something like this. Right? I think there's two different ways to go about it. You get the break, right, of 12,550. You can get that push into the 950. If you reject 950, you're either coming back to retest it one more time and find strength, or you're failing once again and you're moving back to the lows. That's how I would play this out. I would definitely take shots of rejections at 950, 13,000. That will definitely be a play I'll look for. I'll definitely look for the rejections here. Definitely. On the ES, let's turn that red real quick, just so I know. This is the red zone. This is the trifecta. This is the Godzilla resistance up here. 12,950, 13,000. Okay, that we need to note. ES, same exact concept. We break last week's highs of around 4,060. Yeah, we could channel. Could channel for sure. Always that possibility. If we break last week's highs, we get a push into 4130, 4140, where I think you ultimately will reject. Right? It's the same exact story. Or you come back down, turn it into resistance, and move back to the lows. Right? So I will definitely look for rejections off 4140 on the ES. All right, guys. I hope this helps. I hope this gives you a little idea of what we're looking at on the market. If I had to say, I think you will see some upside next week. I think there absolutely is I think, if there's any chance of it, it has to happen early next week. We need to get through last week's highs. If we see a push over last week's highs, I think you can pretty confidently say that there should be some upside. But, I wouldn't think that there's no part of me that says, yeah, we're having like an extended rally here. Not yet. There's no way to say that confidently. So let's look for that little relief bounce. Let's see if we can break last week's highs. If you break last week's highs, you engulfed all that price action. That is a reason to see more squeeze. If you get more squeeze, then I think you come up to that red zone. And that is the same thing, same concept for the ES. All right, guys, I hope this helped. If you're watching this after the fact, I hope it was a good experience, because I'm sure some of you guys are going to be watching this after. If you're live here now, thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys coming on in short notice. If you'd like to help me out, press the like button. That would be awesome. I know it's a little bit shorter, but make sure to come to the live stream tomorrow morning, where I will do the same analysis and go over specific stocks as well, where we'll do just our normal live stream. Press that like button, guys. Everyone that's here, there's really no reason not to press the like button. If you're here now, it shows that you're supportive, right? So like button, awesome. Subscribe, awesome. Thank you so much for subscribing. Help me get to 50K. Hope you guys have a fantastic Sunday night. Rangers are about to play in 30 minutes, so please put in a prayer for me. You guys know that I'm going to be sweating tonight. This is Game 7. Rangers need to win. It's scary, but it's exciting. So thank you, guys. Press that like button, subscribe, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow morning. If you want to join the Discord chat, link is down below. And that is it. Peace out, guys. Have a great night.